Hello again, YouTube. So I've been meaning to make a video. Sorry. Um, since well, I was in New York and I really wanted to make one. But I mean, it's just such a hassle making it on my phone, and I didn't feel like I had the right lighting, and I was usually like, I don't even know. I don't know. I wanted to make this video like, once I had my laptop, connected to the internet, talking. So. Um, in my questions and answers video, I got asked a question, how do what's a creative way to kind of come out as transgender to somebody? And for whatever reason, it's probably because I was like really, really sick, and maybe a little delirious or just like camera happy or something. But when I read that question, for whatever reason, I processed it as like, they are transgender and like they've been transgender and they're asking, how do you come out, how do you like tell them that you are transgender versus just like the girl they think you are. Does that make sense? So I don't know, I was being stupid. So now that I've actually thought about it and I've watched the video and I've been like, why didn't she like answer it like a normal person? I want to re-answer it because I think this is a very good question. When you know in your heart of hearts that transition is what you want to do or that you are transgender, how do you let other people know? And the thing I did, my therapist, when I was seeing one, actually had me do this, and I thought it was really, really, really great. And I wrote a letter to the people in my life to let them know. I sent, it was really my family who I sent the letter to, but I gave a copy to anyone who wanted to read it. And basically in the letter, I explained, how I've been feeling about my situation, for how long. I kind of, brought up stuff in my childhood that, they might have remembered and that might help them to understand where I'm coming from, like, for example, I played with dolls a lot when I was younger. I played dress up all the time. I pretended I was a girl like all the time. I was always obsessed with, the girl characters in the movies or the books, like all that kind of stuff. I talk about that. And then I talked about what being transgender is. And I explained it the best I could. I even had a few charts like that showed the scale. I guess it depends on what theory you're looking at about gender, or maybe it's all under the same thing. But anyway, there's different scales you can look at, like biological sex. There's a scale of male to female, and with intersex in the middle, and a scale of masculine to feminine, and then kind of the androgynous kind of in the middle. There's another scale. Oh, it's which sex you identify as, like male, female, intersex. So, you have, so like I, for example, would be, and I highlighted where I sit on the scale, kind of to give them a point of perspective. Like I'm male born, on that one scale. I'm far on the feminine end of that scale, and then I identify as female on the other scale. So, and you kind of just pick where you best sit on that. But, you don't have to do charts. But I thought it helped, and they thought it helped too. So I did that. I explained my situation. I explained that I am not depressed and that this is something that I feel like I need to do, and that, what steps I am taking to improve it. And I also made it very clear that, this was something I was doing and that I was very sure about, and that I hope that they, even if they can't understand it right now, or even if it's confusing to them, I hope that over time they would come to learn about it or be comfortable, to ask me any questions they needed. It's important to be very, very, kind of cater to them a little bit with it, because it is a big, big it is a big, big issue, and you've been thinking about it, longer than they have. This will, I think, for a lot of people be kind of new, territory for them, or sometimes they don't even expect this out of you. So a letter is my real suggestion to coming out as transgender to, your friends, family, or whoever. Just make it thorough, make it sweet and informative, but don't come off as like, it's important to not come off as being pushy about it, or as being kind of self-righteous. You know what I mean? You're just telling it how it is. Like, I'm transgender, I've known for this long, I've talked to a therapist, or I've started hormones, or whatever. I've just started researching, like, well, okay. You should have researched probably for a while, so that you kind of have some credibility. Not that you need credibility to prove yourself to anyone, really, about this kind of thing, but, if you're showing a friend or a parent or whoever, it would be, I think, a relief for them if they knew that this was not just kind of a spur of the moment thing for you. So yeah, write yourself a letter. That's my suggestion. I'm sorry if my answer before seemed kind of rushed, or kind of, like I didn't actually want to answer it. It was, I don't know, I was just thinking about it weird. So if I answered anybody else's questions like that, please, let me know so I can clarify myself. Okay. All right. Bye.